Good afternoon. My name is Curtis Anthony. They call me the Koolbreeze from Radio Regent Broadcast Facilities in downtown Toronto. Glad to have you here in the Koolbreeze Stratosphere. We're here with Miss Karin Plato. We're going to talk about your vision, your mission, and your evolution of your music. Koolbreeze is here to magnify your brilliance. Pleasure to meet you.
Thank you.
Karin, before we get into the insights and analysis of what your music is all about, how are you doing and how is life?
Life is good. Life is very good.
Fantastic.
I'm happy to be here speaking with you.
Thank you. Tell the fans, local to global, on where your music started.
Okay. I'm from the prairies originally.
Okay.
I have lived in Vancouver since 1985. That's really where a lot of my music development came from.
Right.
That's where I truly got the jazz bug.
Okay.
Because until I was almost 30, I liked rock pop. I still do. But until I was about 30, I didn't have a clear direction on what my music was going to be about.
Okay. Now, who, what, why inspired you to do music?
I think this will sound new agey perhaps, but I don't really have a concrete reason, but something about being at the piano or singing, certain things would happen and I would somehow think that I was connecting with something beyond me.
Right.
And I would call myself a reluctant performer, but I am not a reluctant musician. I love making music and writing music and recording, and I am a cheerful person, so I can learn to be on a stage even though that's not my natural inclination.
Right.
But you need to be if you want to share the music.
And who's some of the artists you listened to when you were growing up?
Oh, well, when I was 17, 18, the rock band Heart, still existing.
Love
Ann
them.
Wilson.
Love them. Oh,
I love the sisters, Ann Wilson, and that kind of singing. She's a fantastic singer.
Yeah.
So that music really influenced me. And then something contrary to that, my dad was always playing Johnny Cash. That was his fave. So that kind of depth of sound with a male voice and that music. And then on my mom's side, it would be more the classical music and the love of Mozart and Beethoven and composers like that, and musical theater, Julie Andrews. I've seen The Sound of Music more than anyone in Canada.
She had a
maybe.
voice too.
Yes.
She was beautiful,
yes.
beautiful.
So those are some of the influences from a young age, I'd have to say.
No, I'm just going to throw this out there. Did Joni Mitchell, for some reason, had something to do with your musical background?
Joni Mitchell.
Love her.
I have to say that influence did not affect me until I was old enough. I was older, not when I was a teenager.
Right.
And I don't really know why.
Right.
Maybe something to do with timbre of voice, because Ann Wilson had that rock sound and Joni in her younger years had that higher folk voice, which I had to learn to understand, I guess.
Right.
And Joni Mitchell, though, nowadays, I listen to Joni Mitchell a lot.
Right.
And so the influence of the intelligent, creative artist, which I don't profess to be, but how can you not be influenced, affected by someone that's made some decisions that leave your mind blown when you listen to her music and view her art and hear her speak.
True.
That's how I feel.
That's well said. Now, your CD, This Could Be the One by Karin Plato. LP and CD. Now, what goes into the concept of composition when you write this piece of music?
Well, for this recording, it was a process of a number of years and a number of experiences as I became more experienced in my own music making and interested in life and its ways as you get older and the things that happen to you along the way, loss and love and friendship and learning and growing. And so over the period of almost a decade, some of these songs came through those experiences, which are not only my personal experiences. I imagine that listeners will identify with certain things, including having insomnia or falling in love. That's not a new concept, but it's always there in my life.
Right.
hopefully in yours,
Right? Yes.
love.
Yeah, it's always
And
there.
it's always there.
Yeah.
And just different things of that nature have appeared in themes of the concept of the music on this.
Great. I was listening to your CD in our sound boutique showroom for LPs with the Toronto Vinyl Fest, and I was totally blown away by the title song. This could be you. Like, wow, you've got a great voice. I've got to get me a CD and possibly an LP, because good music has no expiration date. Now, tell the friends the difference between an LP and a CD sound.
All right.
Yes.
Well, there is a difference, and it doesn't mean that one is better than the other in some cases. There is maybe a more immediate warmth, perhaps, in the vinyl, and maybe I'm biased about that. I still love the quality of this CD. Interestingly, the CD maybe has a few more silences within the music. On a vinyl record, sometimes there are other little pops and cracks that maybe show up, but the music has an electricity to it on vinyl, a liveness, if you will, on the vinyl. That's what I hear when I do the A/B test.
Yes, you're absolutely right. I'm a vinyl freak as well. I love the bandwidth, the detail, the warmth, the texture. Nothing can beat that. And tell us a bit about the working with these members of your band.
Well, my bandmates are fabulous musicians, and they're primarily the men playing in my band, in this case, are young fathers, teachers, musicians in many genres, and they've become my team, I guess. They understand the kind of singer I am, and they're very egoless. The music, when we play together, it's all about serving the tune, and these people really do that. And I'm pretty excited to finally share a duet with Jim Burns, who's one of Canada's big blues artists. And I've always had a crush on Jim Burns, but doing an original duet with him, that was quite special. I have to say.
This is unbelievable. How did you find out about the Toronto Vinyl Fest?
Well, there's a wonderful company that has enjoyed this record and has issued it on 180 gram vinyl, and that's Arioso Music, Element Acoustics in Vancouver. And they told me about this festival, and I genuinely love Toronto. I love coming here. I haven't been here for about maybe 15 years, so I thought it was a great opportunity to come and try to be here supporting the vinyl, and maybe people will be interested, and also do a couple of gigs and do a couple of radio spots with people like
Koolbreeze. Yes, I love that. You know what? When I met you yesterday in our booth, Karin, the energy, the synergy, and the musicality that you brought to the broadcast facilities, I said I gotta have you first thing today in an interview. And you are going to be talked about on our show, because we're #1 for independent artists, Radio Regent, and we're branching out a different radio station, Jackie Vibes in Mississauga, and we'll be playing your music.
Thank you very much.
And you tell the fans to tune in where they can hear your music, because we really want to showcase a lot of artists, because that matrix is the matrix is not a viable space for independent artists. And at the independent radio, why I got into independent radio, because we have the creative freedom of expression to express, to communicate our ideas and magnify the artist's brilliance.
I love that. I love that line. I really do. You make us feel special, and it's true. As an independent artist, and I am, and have many friends and colleagues that are, it is a tough road to hoe sometimes.
It is.
But we keep trying positively, and what you're doing, I think, is good for.
Thank you.
For the artists, it's true, and
thank you
for
so
the
much.
Listeners, maybe who want something a little bit unique.
When I got into radio 4 years ago, I wanted to bring that element of old school radio with the talk and the music, and where artists hear his music play, and you talk about them, you get a soundbite, you cover them on the field, post it up there. They could phone in the radio station and hear their voice. That love.
Yes.
My show starts with love.
I like it. I love it and I like
Love and unity. Love and unity. And I'm just tell the friends, where can your music be purchased?
Well, here in Toronto, at the Vinyl Fest,
great.
it is here for sure.
Right.
And it's actually distributed by Outside Music, which is also located in Toronto.
Right.
And CD Baby does not have it, not
Okay.
this one.
We gotta get
and
it on
that
there.
was a conscious decision. I'll just say
Okay.
briefly to the listeners that I wanted a tangible physical product. That's why there's been quite a bit of thought into the graphics, even though it may not seem like it with this little character on the cover.
Right.
But I wanted people to open up the package, the CD package, the vinyl, and as they're listening, maybe to see and read a bit about my bandmates or see who my bandmates are, picture of them. And so it's not yet on CD Baby, but it is available on Spotify,
Okay.
as many independent artists
Right.
are.
Right. Right. Now, how long you been on the music scene?
Well, I turned 60 next March, and so I've been recording music since I was in my early 30s, let's say.
Yeah.
So I'm doing it until I can't do
That's
it,
good.
so to speak.
Wow. Your age, you're aging gracefully. You don't look that.
I don't feel
No,
it
you don't.
either. It's
That's
interesting with
good.
numbers, and
Yeah.
I'm happy to be who I am,
Right.
and I know I'm lucky to be
Yes.
doing what I'm doing.
What fuels your passion to continue to play music?
Well, other musicians.
Yeah.
I love hearing new artists, going to see music live, listening to recordings of people that I already like or have never heard of before.
Right.
Definitely fuels me, and different genres,
Yes.
as I know you love. I
Yes.
love many genres, and they all fuel me, definitely.
Good. Now, with the ever-changing dynamic with music, how do you ignite innovation with music?
I will admit that seems to come from Mother Nature. And again, it will sound new agey, but I have to remove myself from technology. And I do that with my husband a lot, going camping, being in the woods, going for a hike, and having those new ideas not come from the instruments or from other music I'm listening to. That's the tapping into the ether of something that I trust very much, which will be an idea. I usually have a lot of ideas anyway, but something that I think I should try this. This would be a good avenue
Okay.
for a theme.
Great. Karin, how would you describe the music scene in Vancouver?
I think it maybe is similar to Toronto. Now, as a jazz musician, musicians tend to gripe about what is closing and there's nowhere to play, etc. That's still true.
Right.
However, there's a thriving scene. We have in Vancouver, we have many fabulous musicians,
Wow.
multi-genres, and there are smaller things, again, i.e. independent, concerts and events where people that want to hear and experience live music can go.
Right.
So that is happening.
Right.
We have one designated listening jazz club that would be akin to here. We have in Toronto, we have Jazz Bistro, that would be the main one. In Vancouver, we have Frankie's Jazz Club, and touring artists, independent and otherwise label artists, come through and perform. But I think you can't keep creativity down in any city, even if
Quite true.
even if you lose certain venues, or if you know that the mass population is not aware of your genre of music. If you really feel like this is the music you want to write, whether that is roots or folk or what country, I think that if you remain true to what your thought process was in your music and honest with it, there'll be someone
Yes.
that will tap into that.
That is quite an illuminating explanation. I like that.
Long-winded.
That's
Long-
good. That's good. You know. No, Karin, if you were to inspire a younger person today on getting in a music career, how would you influence them?
Well, most definitely I would say it can be a very lonely experience, because when you're creating your music, even if you have bandmates, you have to be alone for some of that, to figure out what your concept might be, to share with others.
Yes.
And the other thing would be to learn as many instruments as you possibly can, just to learn how even a little bit about how to play, or what does a saxophonist have to deal with when he or she is playing their instrument, so that when you're composing songs, you already kind of know not just what they sound like, but what it might be like to play, what the difficulty or challenges are, and to keep the body. We get one body, that's your machine,
Right.
to do the things that are good for your body, so that if you're a singer, that you can do it for as long as you possibly can.
Right.
Sounds silly, it's not to do with the music, but I would say,
Do that.
You know.
What about the business acumen side?
oh goodness, I'm such a bad business person, but I would say surround yourself with people that you trust, and live frugally to support your music habit, because you will need the money to put into things like recordings, especially if you're an independent artist. But it can be done, and you do extra jobs. I have sold shoes. I have made yogurt cones as a younger person. I have my education, so I'm a private music teacher, so I have that.
Okay.
But other things, because it's no one's going to do it for you. You find out.
Right.
Your friends and fans will be there, but it is your thing to figure out.
Wow, this is great. I'm just enjoying it. This interview, it's incredible. The Toronto, we bring a different kind of energy to the show, to the vinyl. We've been doing this for years.
Yes.
But this is a different dynamic for us. Ben Scarcelli decided, and Fred, we're gonna bring the interviews
I'm glad.
mixed in with the whole thing, and we had the radio last year, so we all networking.
Networking, the key word, I think.
That is just unbelievable, and I love your energy, your music, and question I meant to ask you: do you have a memory with music performing that stands out there?
Oh, well, I have a few, but I admitted earlier in the interview that I'm a somewhat reluctant performer.
Right.
Even though that might be hard to believe, I'm a chatterbox. I've got energy, and I'm not shy to speak with you.
Right.
Being on a stage sometimes does intimidate me like crazy.
Okay.
I remember one very small venue, small concert where it was just a duo. In fact, I was singing with a guitarist.
Right.
And something happened where we were both transported, and we knew it. We could feel it together, and with the audience. And I was surprised later to think that the whole room hushed. Not a big room, but let's say there were 50 max, 50 people max. We, the audience, we two musicians, that was a connection, and that's what made me think, when this happens, it's beyond us. The audience was involved in that.
Right.
That was exciting.
Great. Karin, any shout out to friends, family?
Well, let's see. Well, here in Toronto, I have many musician friends and talented colleagues. Now, if I forget one of them, it'll be horrible, but Heather Bambrick is someone who is an unbelievable force. She also works in radio, but she's an amazing
She is.
Force of positive energy. Also independent artist.
And good singer. Yeah.
And good singer, and she's a self-made woman as well, doing it herself with her bandmates. So the shout out would go to Heather, I have to say.
All right. Great. This is wonderful. Karin Plato on the Koolbreeze Experience Show, Toronto Vinyl Fest 2019. Thanks for taking the time to join our broadcast. I appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me.
I appreciate your perspective.
Thank you
It's
so
been
much,
wonderful.
Koolbreeze.
Thank you.